Hello, everyone. We are putting together our free training, so we're looking forward to having you join us. We are getting up and running live on all of our different platforms here. So I'm just going to give it a second as you are joining us. If you would please make comments about where you're tuning in from and say hello. Okay, let's make sure we have that going. We'll give it a minute. We are here to talk about building habits for better productivity. So we're really glad that you're here. Hi, Bonnie. Hi, Sammy. Let's see. Ferndale, Washington. Yeah. All right. Okay. Perfect. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and get started. Hello, Caitlin. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Make sure that you say hello. Let us know where you're tuning in from. You're gonna notice that I'm gonna look here and I'm gonna also look here because we have a couple of different platforms that we are streaming live from today to hopefully bring this information to you where you're at. And hopefully this is helpful for you. We also want this to be an engaging conversation. So if you have any comments or questions during this event, we would really love to hear from you. We want to make sure we go through all the comments and answer as many questions as possible. Caitlin, thank you so much. Thank you for tuning in. And we're here for you. This training is about you. It's about providing really awesome tools for you. And so we want to make sure that we get to everybody's questions. So just let us know. So building habits for better productivity. We all have habits that we operate from, whether we are aware of them or not. And so the goal of this training is to take a bird's eye view and bring awareness to the habits that you're currently operating from, and then look at what the habits are that are available to us, and then swap them out accordingly to make sure that they're aligning with where we want to be heading in the future. So we're going to give you the overview and the bullet points of building habits for better productivity. And we have our comments, like I said, for asking any questions that maybe we haven't gotten to yet. If anything that we mentioned sparks a question for you, we want to be able to answer it. So please make sure that you drop those in. We're also going to be going in depth on this stuff of how we actually implement these habits into our day-to-day life in our upcoming Business Mastery Workshop, which is happening September 17th. And we have a morning option or an afternoon option. And we're really excited to put together this workshop. It's something that we do every single fall. We help women put together some more organization, give them tools, equip them to really fine-tune their skills at their business so that they can feel the exciting momentum of the rest of the year and carry that forth into the next year. And a lot of us have kind of lost that momentum this year, right? It's been a little bit of a challenge. Some of us have kind of figured out where we need to pick up and go, and others are a little bit lost still. So we have that training coming up. So we will be talking about the overview here today of building habits for better productivity, and then going in depth on those things when we have our upcoming Business Mastery Workshop. Hi, Debbie. Thanks for joining us. Good to see you. So make sure that you have something to take notes on, because we are going to dive in pretty quickly. So is everybody ready? Are we ready? Okay, great, excellent. So why are we here? I am not the first person to talk about habits, right? You've likely heard many tips, many tricks, hacks of like how we build good habits. And yet we are still looking for answers. We're still looking for that like magic ingredient to like habit hack our way to success, right? Am I right? We are here because we have a hard time sticking with good habits. Good habits aren't as easy as the lazy habits, right? And that's just the truth of it. So if I haven't met you, I'm Heather Simpson and I'm a truth teller. So that's what we're here to do today. If this is your first experience with me, welcome. Welcome to how we operate here. I'm not here to waste anybody's time. We're going to get down to the truth around building better habits. And sometimes that truth pill is a little bit larger than we're wanting. And it's a little bit hard to swallow. And believe me, I know, because I am there. I've been there even like very recently. It's hard to really analyze and look at the truth. It's easier to think, I just don't know the correct the tricks or hacks to really tap into. It's harder to look at how we are blocking ourselves from having that success. I operate She Leads Me for you, the professional female, and I have made a promise to equip you with the tools that you need for success and truly help you on your journey. So I wouldn't be helping you if I'm feeding you fluff all day. So we're not here for fluff today, okay? Question for you. Does anyone have an idea of why people don't stick with good habits? Do we have any guesses? Anybody that would like to make a comment about that? So the truth of it is, the reason why people don't stick with good habits is because they're boring. And that's just the reality of it. We get bored doing the same things time after time. We lose interest. We make excuses. Our system wants to spice things up and have variability. We all know that's true, but who actually says that? And yes, Debbie, it is easier to fall back on the ease of bad habits. That is absolutely true. We want the excuse that building habits is hard and that it's not easy. But the reality is that we're just bored with it. We're just bored with doing the same thing on repeat. So here's the thing. Now we know. Now we have the awareness. It's just boredom is what it is, right? We can remind ourselves that now next time when we don't want to start something or finish something. The next time we want a cheat day, we're in the middle of a health plan. The next time we want to finish at the gym early. The next time we randomly want to take an unplanned day off because we deserve it, right? We've been doing the work. We've been doing the exercise, the healthy eating for 3 days now. We deserve a day off from doing something good that we decided to commit to, right? That's what we tell ourselves. Am I heading home with anybody yet? Yeah. I know for me, really diving into this, it hit home in so many different areas. The truth is, good habits are the backbone of any pursuit of excellence. So if we're looking to achieve excellence, we have to build the good habits to go along with it. Which means that you have to fall in love with boredom, because that is the foundation of building good habits. So I want a little equation for you, okay? Good habit boredom plus you equals reaching your goals and dreams. And I want you to write that in your notes right now. Like, you know how you've seen when people like carve out something like in a tree or in a bathroom stall. Good habit boredom plus you equals reaching your goals and dreams. Just draw a little heart around that, okay, to really solidify that. And I want you to notice right now if there is maybe some sort of resistance to this concept. As I'm saying some of these things, your brain might be trying to tell you a different story, something different to this concept. It's something that we really need to recognize in ourselves and really bring it to the light. If we keep that in the shadows, if we keep using other excuses and not acknowledging that it is boredom, and we keep it in our subconscious and we don't acknowledge it, it will continue to hold us back from breaking through. And then I will end up seeing you here again in a few months when we do this training once again. So that's just the reality of it. We need to bring it to the forefront. We need to really realize what it is and that we are stopping ourselves from showing up in that way. How are we doing? Just want to check to see if there's any comments or anything as we're going. Feel free to dive in, and as you're joining us again, just say hello, let us know where you're tuning in from. So this boredom is the answer to everyone's great question, which is, how do I stay motivated? When we ask that question, how do we stay motivated? We then realize that the answer is, oh, it's not because of lack of motivation. It's because of boredom. We ask ourselves, how do really successful people stay motivated? They must not deal with this. The truth is, really successful people feel the same lack of motivation as everybody else does. And the difference is that they still find a way to show up despite those feelings of boredom, despite not wanting to do that work. Mastery at something requires practice, but then we hit a roadblock. The more we practice something, the more boring and routine it becomes, right? So if we like get in the habit, it becomes kind of boring, mundane. We could do it in our sleep is a common phrase that you hear. If we start that something with challenging for us, like we get that excitement and thrill of conquering that, right? Like any type of consistency goal that you might hit, like hitting the gym 4 days in a row, writing a page of your new book every single morning, posting on social media a couple times in a week if you're not used to that. Once we've hit that stride of consistency, we learn what to expect. And so then our interest starts to fade away. We feel the slightest dip in motivation when that happens. And so then we start to try to find the new way, this better way to accomplish that task, even if the other way is still working. It is because of these things that I see in the women that I work with and consult with every day that this is what I have come down to determining. That the greatest the greatest threat to success is not failure. It's actually boredom. Once we learn to fall in love with boredom, then the next steps that I'm going to lay out for you here in just a minute, and they're actually going to start to work for you because you're actually seeing the reality of what's happening instead of hiding behind the excuse that we tell ourselves that we don't have the newest, latest, greatest reason or way or habit hack to be able to be successful. Hello, Mari. Thanks for joining. Once we learn to fall in love with boredom, they're going to actually work. You will then be ready to learn and understand how to implement these good habits into your life for good. It's as easy as that, right? And if you only do the work when it's convenient or exciting, you will never be able to be consistent enough to achieve remarkable results. Stepping up when you don't feel like it, or when it's annoying, or when it's painful, that is the difference between greatness and mediocrity. Successful people stick to good habits and a schedule. Mediocrity loves to let life and excuses get in the way. Okay, so we're building our foundation here. We're understanding the mindset behind how we make good habits work for us. So before I move on to the 6 habits that I have outlined for you today, I want to say this. When a habit is truly important to you, you have to be willing to stick to it, no matter what mood you are in. Successful people take action even when they don't feel like it. Even when they don't feel like it. They don't enjoy it, but they do it anyway. And they understand the huge importance of that and how that is the key to reach their success. So that's our mindset piece for today. How do we feel about that? Anybody have any comments about struggling with boredom? Check our comments here before we move on. Okay, we're going to get down into it. We are going to dive into these 6 different good habits that you should implement for better productivity. And this is for productivity in any capacity, right? A lot of our audience are professional women that either have their own businesses or they work within an organization and are up-leveling themselves in the ranks of their business. You might have like a quote, like side hustle that you work on, but this is for any capacity. It's home life, career life, building businesses, getting on a better health routine, whatever it is, these are habits that you can implement in any of those things, okay? We talk through the lens of business. And when we go into Business Mastery Workshop, we also go into that as well. And we also talk about how to really utilize this to talk to and speak to kind of the whole female, not just the professional female, but who am I, Heather, as a mom, as a partner, as a business owner, as a friend, as a family member, and how do I utilize these things to help me achieve more productivity in all of them, okay? So the first step, here we go. Number one is getting rid of distractions. That is the first thing to do to really build a good habit. So how do we get rid of distractions? We look at time management so often, but time management means nothing if we are not also looking at distraction management. And when I say distraction management, I mean anything that could come up to pull you out of the zone. You know, when you're in your flow state or like in the zone, right? Like that is when you are most productive. We want to keep you in that for as long as possible when you are sitting down to get something done and get something accomplished. So that means that we need to get rid of distractions, which means it takes a little bit of planning and that habit of getting into it. So if you are looking to work on, I know a lot of people in here are working on writing books. So if you're looking to be productive and creative, you need to make sure that the space around you works for that. You're not going to be creative necessarily if you're in like a super messy space and all you're thinking about when you're in the room is like, look at all of this mess. Even prepping for this, getting rid of distractions, turning off my notifications. We're obviously going live everywhere. So I want to make sure that I'm fully present for you, both on Instagram and then also here on Facebook, and had to clean my desk, make sure that my space is looking good. I need to be in the zone, which means get rid of any distractions that might come in. Now, there's a lot of things that like sometimes cannot be managed, like if one of my animals walks in the room. But I also was able to let my family know ahead of time, right? We're all home, like, hey, I have this free training that I'm doing. I'm going live. It's not something that I can go back and then record later. So I need to make sure that I'm not distracted as much as possible during this time. So I'm setting myself up for success. That could mean you are putting your phone in another room when you're working on something that doesn't require your phone. That could mean that you turn off notifications for a period of time. There are a lot of different ways that we can actually do that. And we do dive into that in our Business Mastery Workshop. So, you know, check out the page and see if that would be something that you'd be interested in. Right now, again, we're talking about the overview. If you're just joining us, we're giving you the bullet points. We dive deeper into the how of that and how to implement that into your life in our Business Mastery Workshop. So we have number one. Number one is getting rid of distractions. Number two is time blocking. This is a phrase that you have heard so many times. It is guaranteed. On our podcast, we ask every single guest at the very end of the show 2 questions. Number one, what books and resources have been instrumental to you on your journey as you're like finding your path and growing as a person? And then the second one is, what are your top tips of success that you want to share with our female listeners as they're on their journey and their path to success as well? Each guest, like the vast majority, mention time blocking. And it is really understanding how to prioritize your time and block it out so that you can get down to business or reading your book or whatever the task is that it might be, the goal that you have for that time. So that could be reading a book, time at the gym, cleaning the house, working on a project, responding to emails, writing that book, homeschooling your children, anything that you need to make time for. And now that we are in a zone right now where, you know, everything is just a little bit messier than we're used to. We haven't had a full 12 months with COVID life, right? So there are going to be new seasons that come up that we have to adjust and kind of shift and figure out how we are going to live life successfully in this kind of new normal. Time blocking is going to greatly help with that. I know for women especially, there's a lot more on our plate right now, a lot more that we have to think about and we have to juggle in the midst of all of this. And time blocking is a great way to accomplish that. So the common misconception when it comes to time blocking, which might be going on in your head right now, is that you want freedom. You want flexibility. I promise you that this method of time blocking will give you those two things. It seems counterintuitive to block out free time, to not have, like, the quote, the flexibility, but I guarantee you that when you take the time to intentionally put it into your calendar and block out that time, that will help you make sure that you have it. That is how we avoid burnout, is we create that time and that space for ourselves so that we make sure that we have it. Hi, Mo, thanks for joining. So in our upcoming Business Mastery Workshop, one of our bonus offers right now, if you register before the 23rd, is we actually give you this really incredible tool and resource, which is our weekly planning framework for you to get in the habit and practice of time blocking. And it's a much easier and effective way than trying to hack it on your own. So we are excited about that resource that we have for you during the workshop. Number 3 would be identifying your priorities. So when we're looking at what we're doing, one of the good habits that we want to make sure that we establish is that we take the time to think about what are our priorities right now. We can't do all of the things all at once. We know that. So what is our specific priority? And those priorities might look different day to day. Some of the smaller ones might change on the day-to-day basis, right? Some of the bigger ones, you might have switch out priorities on a weekly basis or a monthly basis. So it's really important to determine what those priorities are so that we make sure that the actions that we are taking and the things that we are doing are actually aligning with that and getting us closer to hitting those goals that we have or reaching those different things that we want to reach and hit. That is an essential piece, because we can spend all of our days time blocking all we want, but if we're filling our calendar with a bunch of like business stuff, but really our priority and what we want right now is more time with our family, it's not going to jive, it's not going to align. So we really need to identify what those priorities are, write them out, and remind ourselves, like, this is where we're at, this is what we want to be accomplishing, and these are the things that we want to do. So then we can make sure our distractions are out of the way and we can time block to make sure that we're hitting those priorities. Okay, number 4, communication. So now that you've identified what your priorities are, you need to communicate with those around you so that they know. Whether you work with a team of people, whether it's like letting your family know what's going on and what your priorities are right now, it's so important to bring people in around you on that journey so that you can also set yourself up for some pretty great success with that. The more that people know, they can help keep you on track. They can help keep you accountable. They can also look at what their actions are and ask themselves, am I distracting this person from what their priorities are right now? So it's also a good way to get everybody on board around you so that your entire team, your support team, your work team, all of it are there with you, helping you achieve what your priorities are. Okay, so communication is key, and that's number 4. We've got 2 left. Any questions so far? Anybody have anything? All right. Number 5 is track the time that you are spending. So we're going to go through all of this, bother to time block, hopefully, right? If you're at step number 5, then you're a time blocking machine. You're getting everything done. Also, life gets in the way. Sometimes things happen. It's really important to go back and look at your time blocking schedule and ask yourself, is this the reality of what happened? Did I actually do this? Do I need to account for less time for this specific task and more time for this task over here? it's really important to go back and review what actually happened and track it that way, so that as you are gearing up for a bigger launch in your business, for you're looking at hitting some very specific health goals and you're not seeing some progress, you can go back and look like, well, how did I actually spend my time? Did I actually do the things that I said that I wanted to do? Or did I get distracted? Or did I not account for enough time to really, achieve those things? So it's really important to then go back and say, what did I actually do? And adjust accordingly so that your calendar, or however it is that you're tracking it, like tracks with you, so that you know and you can see this is the reality of what happened. This was the goal of what I wanted, what I thought I needed, and then this is the reality of what happened. Our final step is to review. You want to review this on a regular basis. The habit of sticking to all of these are very, very important. So we want to do a check-in with ourselves. How is it going? This is a step further than tracking the time that you are spending. You really want to have intentional time to make sure that you are noticing the differences that are happening for you. With small habit shifts, it's like, as we talked about a little bit earlier, as we build better habits, they become pretty easy. They become kind of mundane. We kind of forget that we're on a new trajectory or a new habit path. So it's easy to kind of forget where we were to where we are now. So it's good to like check in, review. How is this going? How are my habits shaping things for me? How do I feel every single day? Journaling is a great way to do a review. And I would really recommend that. I do a little bit of journaling at the beginning of my day and a little bit of journaling at the end of my day. Here's my intention for the day, and then here's the reality of what happened. How do I feel about that? What can I do better for the next day? And so those are the ways, the 6 top ways to build good habits for better productivity. And we'd really like to invite you to come spend time with us on September 17th, where we can dive into this with you and help you take this to a personal level, where we can take these habits and actually implement them into your life. We'd love to give you this weekly planning framework that we have, and we'd love to see you there and join us with other women from around the world who will be joining us for this really awesome workshop. You get a physical workbook. You get to connect with other women. You get to see and talk and chat with them and meet new people. And we get to work on building things for your business. And so we're really thrilled to have that happen. Any questions? We've talked about, let's review here. So we've talked about the reality of sticking with good habits isn't because they're hard, it's because we're bored. Okay, so that was our mindset piece at the beginning. Where are we at? The mindset shift that needs to be is we are just truly bored when it comes to sticking to good habits. There's really no other good reason. We need to hold ourselves better accountable to build better habits into our life so that we can have more productivity in the areas that we want. Our top 6 areas to build better habits: getting rid of distractions, time blocking, identifying your priorities, communicating with those around you, and then track the time that you are spending, and then have a review. So that is what we talked about today. That is it for our free training today. We're really thankful that you joined us. We hope that you check out the link in the comments here about our upcoming Business Mastery workshop. If you would like any other info, or if you have any questions, if you're watching this on the replay and you didn't watch us live, then please feel free to shoot us a message or comment in the video below, and we will be watching the comments and responding accordingly. Thank you, Madi. It was so great to have you. Thank you for joining us. So just make sure checking on Facebook. So we will see you all soon. It was great to have you, and we'll see you later.